Namaste, beloveds. This is Valerie Ames, aka Mother with Wisdom, and um, I just woke up with some stuff that was very powerful, and I just felt the need to share it. So um, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna read it, and I'm gonna talk through it. So here we go. Um, I titled it "Service and Constriction." Constriction is the inability to move about freely, unimpeded. Think of the condition of a 9 month pregnant mother and her child. And the pregnant mother, the 9 month pregnant mother and child is a recurring theme in this. And I want you to think about the 9 month pregnant woman who is like 2 weeks overdue. So she is really ready to pop. Okay? So let me give it to you again. Constriction is the inability to move about freely and unimpeded. Think of the condition of the 9 month pregnant mother and her child. And that constriction, beloveds, is the baby no longer has room to stretch and move, so it's feeling constricted. The mother is so ready to have that baby, the weight on her pelvic floor, the weight on her back, on her spine, just her body being off balance and out of alignment. She's feeling constricted. She can't move, she can't get upright, she's swollen, she's constricted in everything. And the baby is constricted. Okay? So this is the word constricted. The next word is service. Service is an action that you take to serve or help another. Again, think of the condition of the 9 month pregnant mother and her child. And beloveds, this was so beautiful to me how Spirit broke this down because of the way I was just reintroduced to the word service. The mother is in service of the great mother by opening her womb to incarnate existence, to incarnate life, to be a vessel. She's serving as a vessel. Her womb is serving. This child is coming into this world to serve a purpose of existence, of divine, of God. It is also going to serve the purpose of being fruitful and multiplying. It is also serving its mother by allowing her to be a mother. Pregnancy was once referred to as confinement. When I think of that word, I automatically think of a prison cell or cage. I grew up I was born in 1965. Um, and I used to hear of women, she's in her confinement, or she's confined to the house because she's pregnant, or she's confined to the house because of her monthly, her period. So women are often confined. When you are confined, you are constricted. And to equate being pregnant with confinement, that says a lot about society and the patriarchal, misogynistic view of the greatest service that you could perform willingly and lovingly is to replicate an image of the divine. But it's called confinement. Let me keep going. Pregnancy is a contracted service to the universe. Beloveds, that blew me away. I really want you to think about that. Pregnancy is a contracted service to the universe. And I want you to think about what's going on in the United States right now with the revisitation of Roe versus Wade and the restrictions and constrictions and the condemnations and everything else that's going on with a woman's body as a vessel. Let me get to it. Pregnancy is a contracted service to the universe. To be clear, it is a service that can be halted abruptly. We call this miscarriage. Terminated. Pregnancy is a service that can be terminated, a contracted service that can be terminated. We call that abortion. Pregnancy or rendered null. Pregnancy is a contract that can be rendered null and void by a stillbirth, or pregnancy can be a contract made viable by a live birth. Now, beloveds, it's very interesting that Mama had me use these specific words, especially contract. I'm like, contract? Pregnancy is a contract with the universe. And as it went forward, it got a lot deeper. But I just want you to keep that in mind because it's very important to the message. Pregnancy itself is a contract to the universe, to existence itself, by or from existence herself, itself, himself. The mother parents are legally bound to this child by universal laws. Understand that. That's very important. By universal laws, we are bound to our children. Because it's a contract to have them. The parents will raise the child with conditioned restrictions and will serve that child's needs. Again, you have the word constrictions, which are the rules that that child will follow, the directions and instruction that that child will follow, the discipline and everything else that that child will follow, and will serve that child's needs by loving that child, by listening to that child, by providing the basic necessities for that child, by serving as that child's role model. By serving that child, you're serving the universe. And you're getting that child ready to do the same. And one day, that child, with conditioned constrictions, will serve the parents' needs. And that's how it used to be back in the day. You know, parents would bring their children up. And when the parents got unable to do for themselves, the children would take on that role with their own rules and regulations of how they would help the parents. There was no putting them in a home or something of that nature. It was your personal responsibility. It was your duty to serve your parents the way they had served you as a child. Let me keep going. And beloveds, this is not in judgment This is not in condemnation. This is just coming from what Spirit is giving me. And like I said, it'll really start to gel as we get deeper into it. The message is so powerful. This is natural order of the universe. That's the natural order of the universe. For the parent to make this contract with the universe. Life comes into existence. That life is to be cared for with rules and regulations and also services. And then completing that circle, that life is to then take care of what brought it into existence. This is the natural order. This is the circle and the cycle of life. Contraction and expansion, constriction and service. And those 4 words, contraction. When a woman is ready to have birth, she contracts. Her uterus expands and contracts, expands and contracts. The care, constriction, and service. The rules that we live by, the disciplines that we live by, the constraints, the laws that we live by, and the service we provide. So these are natural laws of the universe. Contraction and expansion, constriction and service. And one of the things, I don't care if you believe in the Big Bang Theory or not, I'm just going to use it in this instance as a projection of birth and how the universe herself would give birth, expelling the planets, okay, and having them grow and so forth, and life exists on each planet. And it's just, like I said, these words, contraction and expansion. And to contract is to get smaller, to get tighter, and to expand is to open up and get larger. And beloveds, when you think about that's what we're here to do, that's the correct order. That's the natural order of existence itself. It helps you put some things in focus. Let me keep going. Existence herself gave birth with contraction and expansion, or another way of putting it, constriction and service. The sun, SUN/SON, serves its mother. The moon serves its mother. The planets serve its mother. The stars serve its mother. Life, existence itself, serves its mother. And the mother serves her creation, all that she brought into existence, by enforcing divine laws and the gift of grace and the gift of free will. So, beloveds, the constrictions that we have are Mama enforcing the divine laws. And we know what the universal laws are. You're not getting away from gravity. What you put out is coming back to you. These are universal laws. You cannot break these laws and think you are not going to suffer the effect of them. Cause and effect. And the service is the gift of grace and free will, the gift of free will, the gift of free will. And beloveds, this took me back meditating on this and hearing myself reading it is taking me to the Garden of Eden and understanding where Adam and Eve were and the constrictions that they were given. Do not eat from this tree. And the grace and free will that they had to choose for themselves if they were going to eat from that tree or not. And they made the choice. And they chose to serve themselves. They chose to serve their egos. They chose to be selfish rather than to listen and serve the mother who had provided everything, give them existence itself. To be in service to all is unconditional love. That's one of the things I've been trying to define, because so many of us, and me especially, we have our own conditioned convictions, inner convictions of what love is. And because of that, we have our own idea of what unconditional love is. And so I've been asking Mama to make it plain, please. Show me, this unconditional love. And I've been seeing it. And in seeing it, I've become much more grateful. And I've become much more in tune with the vibe of it. And let me get to it. To be in service to all, to be in service to all is unconditional love. And the way, well, I'm going to get into it, but another way is just like I read that existence, Mama gave birth to the sun, and the sun serves the mother, the moon serves the mother, the planets serve the mother, the stars serve the mother. Life and existence itself serves the mother. She produced them in unconditional love. And they, in unconditional love, serve her. Our hearts beat because of unconditional love. It's not a voluntary thing. We breathe because of unconditional love. We were given the breath of life. That's service to us. That served us to be animated and to live. And in turn, we are to serve, return the favor. Return that unconditional love. Return the unconditional love for ourselves. And return the unconditional love back to her. Let me keep going because, like I said, this was very, very deep for me. And I'm still meditating and going over it. And it's taken me all day to get to it. Usually I do these in the morning, but this is late afternoon late evening, early evening. So let me just get to it. To be in service to all is unconditional love. When a soldier goes to war, we say he or she are in the service. And I want you to think about that. That soldier isn't just going for his family. That soldier isn't just going for one race of people. That soldier, well, nowadays anyway, That soldier is going for everybody that belongs to his family, nation, country, and he serves unconditionally. He's ready to give his life. That is service. The veterans have rendered a service, and look how we treat them. When a holy person is called and know to be in the service to the divine, they are divine servants. Look what we do to them. They are serving. They have taken it upon themselves. There is a vow. They've committed to be of service unconditionally, just like the police are to protect and serve unconditionally. Race shouldn't enter into it. Sexual preference shouldn't enter into it. How much money you make, or if you're homeless on the street, shouldn't enter it. Before God, you said you would serve. We have gotten so proud, so resistant, so conditioned to chasing after the Joneses that we don't know how to serve the Joneses because we only see them as competition or somebody to mock or somebody to bully. Or somebody to judge and justify based upon your conditions, constrictions, constraints, and beliefs. Let me keep going. One who freely serves another or a cause is a servant. One who freely serves is a servant. That's why I said you serve the Lord. What did you serve your husband to eat? What did you serve your kids to eat? Soul food. When people go into specific jobs of hospitality, they're taught how to serve. They're taught the etiquette. They're taught customer is right. You serve the customer. In a restaurant, you serve the people. You serve them. The waiters and waitresses serve them. The cook serves them. Service. And when you're serving, there is a heart space that you should be in. There is a conscious state that you should be in when you're serving. Because, like I said, this is you rendering service back to the divine. You are reflecting that image of service. You are serving existence itself by serving this individual. When I worked in the nursing home, I treated each one of those individuals as if they were my parents. My father died in a nursing home. And I didn't like the way they treated them, him, them. And I would have parents, children, I would be on another floor of the nursing home or another room or ward or something. And they would ask for me specifically to come and do something for their parent, simply because they knew I cared. Not that I was better than somebody, not that I was brown nosing, not that I was getting anything out of it, but because my father had been in a nursing home and I knew how that felt. I served. And I sometimes, honey, it wasn't easy to serve. There were clients there that one day they would know you and love you and you were their favorite. And the next 10 minutes you walk back into their room. You black bitch, get out of my room. What are you doing in my room? So service is not easy. Serving another is not easy. But serving is a choice of free will. It is through the grace that you serve. You serve with love. That's what a servant is and does. One who has no choice but must render service or endure the consequences of that is a slave. There's a big difference between being a servant and being a slave. And it's more than just a mindset, because there are many, like I said, I grew up in the late 60s. I grew up then. And people had what they called a work ethic, which meant they took pride in each and everything that they did. Whether it was shining shoes, they took pride in it because it represented them. That was a service that represented them, their ability to serve. My foster mother had been a maid. She ironed sheets. I had never heard of nobody ironing sheets. She ironed underwear. She took pride in serving. When I got to her house, I had never been taught how to properly clean up a house. My mother, she never taught me how to properly clean up a house, okay? Like I said, my foster mother was a maid. So there was a whole world of cleaning that I had not a clue. And how you do it and why you do it this way and do it the right way. And be proud of your work. Some of that didn't stick with me because, like I said, I hate cleaning. I don't know if it's because I had to do it so much or I felt like I was a slave having to do it and whatever, but cleaning is not one of my favorite things. I'm more creative and messy. But again, the serving. I watched my father, the way he worked hard and how subservient he was. as a black man to his white boss. And it would piss me off as a child to see him not even look at his boss, but to hold his head down. And I asked my mother, why do daddy act like that when so and so and so come to the house? Why do he do that? And she told me, your father grew up right outside of when they were sharecropping, and that black men could be hanged and black men could be killed, and they could not look a white person in their eyes, in their face. This was being subservient. This was how they served. This was part of their constriction. This was part of the restriction. Because that race felt itself superior and deemed it should be served by a lesser race, in its opinion. And this goes back thousands of years. Let me get to it instead of sitting here yakking. This was just so, like I said, so deep to me. Being a servant is reflecting the Great Mother. Being a servant is reflecting the Great Mother. The Great Mother, Great Spirit, Source, existence, herself, itself, himself, serves us. The sun rises and sets every day. It rains. Flowers grow. Food grows. There's cycles and seasons. We have planets to live on. We have animals. We have divine intelligence. These are services that she provided to us as a way of existing. And we are to serve her by taking care of ourselves and the earth and each other. It's about serving. Existence is about serving. It's not about taking. And when you think of a mother, like I said, a mother serves. She serves that incarnated life first with her own body as a living vessel, as a womb. She goes through all kind of discomfort, all kind of pain, agony, fears, worries. Even when that child is born and grown and out of her care and sight. But if that child says it needs something, she will do what she has to serve that child's need. So for us to be existing and not aware of the divine feminine that allowed us existence, and not aware of the service that we need to give back to her. Why do I need to pray to God? Why do I need to praise God? God doesn't exist. Blah, 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 blah. Total disconnect. Total disconnect. And we're reaping what we have sowed. Look at our children nowadays. They're killing parents. Parents are raping little children and killing children. We're locking children up in cages by the hundreds. We're separating children from parents. All of this is because we're reaping what we have sowed. Disservice to existence. Being a servant is reflecting the Great Mother. Being a servant is a reflection, is a mirror image. You're imitating, you're doing what the Great Mother does. When a woman is going through her pregnancy and going into that mama phase, whether it's even if it's been forced upon her, she is serving, but it is her choice whether she is going to go through with that contract with the universe. That's a universal contract between that individual woman and the universe. It is not anybody else's business. Being a servant is reflecting the Great Mother. Being a slave or enslaving is the opposite. Mama is free. Existence is vast, cannot be contained, cannot be chained, cannot be used and misused. So when we are doing these things, we're reflecting our egos. We're reflecting our own minds, our own hearts, our own desires. Has nothing to do with service. We're serving ourselves instead of serving what gave us existence. Throughout history, those are known as the two houses of conscious thought or awareness. Let me read that again. Being a slave, being a servant is reflecting the Great Mother. Being a slave is the opposite. Throughout history, those are the two houses of conscious thought or awareness. Either who are you? And to which house do you belong? Do you serve? How do you view service to others? How do you view being a servant? How do you view being a slave? To the house, system / order that confines, constricts, or limits versus the house that frees, supports, and encourages the expansion of vastness. Which one do you serve? Do you serve your own ego? Or do you serve existence? Because you're going to serve. There's no way you get out of service. But you have the choice, free will, to serve yourself or to follow the example of existence itself and be and show unconditional love and serve all. The plants, the animals, yourself, your neighbors, your children. By being grateful, you're serving the mother. You're acknowledging your life with gratitude by serving. Leaders lead by the services they provide. Leaders should be divine. Leaders by divine wisdom should be the best servants. Are your government leaders? Are your spiritual leaders? Are your teachers? Are they servants? Are they serving you? Are they being examples of service? Are the government leaders, are they serving us? Are they serving because they swear by God, on the Bible, by whatever. I swear to serve. So when they break that oath and they are no longer serving the good of all, they should be removed because they're not serving and they're setting a bad example. Same with spiritual leaders. If your spiritual leaders are more worried about the tithes, more worried about how many times they're going to pass the plate, more worried about how big their congregation is rather than serving that congregation, then they're not serving you, they're serving themselves. Leaders lead by example. Leaders are servants. Leaders are examples of servants. Those who know how to serve know how to lead. Those who do not know how to serve should not be in leadership positions because they're self-serving. Service to all is an act of unconditional love. It's a universal law in motion, cause and effect. The contract of existence is to serve. The house of the rising sun or the house of the setting sun. The house of the rising sun, that came to me as the sun that gives off the divine reflection the most. It leads the way. It rises the vibration. It shows you how. It shines no matter what. No matter if it's raining or it rains, it shines on everybody. It shines on those that serve and those that don't serve. It shines on predators as well as the prey. It serves. The sun serves. The moon serves. It's a lesser light, but she serves. That is their function. Their function is to serve. The reason for their existence is to serve. They exist because of unconditional love. Expanded and contracted and gave birth to them. so that more life could be multiplied, existence could be multiplied in a diverse manner, that unconditional love could be unbound in service to all. Okay. The terms of the contract: you will reap what you sow. What you put out in service will be returned to you in service. So, beloveds, this is again universal laws. This is very fundamental. This is, like I said, the things that we are suffering, enduring, is because of the way we have been serving. We have been conditioned to be self-serving. We have been conditioned to complain. We have been conditioned to judge and point out what we don't like without compassion, without consideration of another human being's existence, right to exist, their right to reflect, their right to grow, their right to expand, their right to contract. You ain't doing that right. You don't look right doing that. You don't know what you're doing. Look at her. Ha 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 ha. We are all here to serve as leaders, as examples to each other. A leader is not born a leader. It becomes a leader through service. And when I say service, service means a lot of sacrifice. You sacrifice some of the things you want to say. You sacrifice some of the things you want to do. Everything is not about you. It's about the larger picture. You're in service to the larger picture. And you realize that you get satisfaction from serving others. By serving others, you are serving yourself. You are serving existence itself. Okay, let me keep going. Be fruitful and multiply was the motto of divine service. Be fruitful and multiply. That means serve. And serve so much that that service is multiplied. That consciousness, that awareness is multiplied. And by universal laws, if that is what you are doing, that is also what you will receive. Be fruitful and multiply. Find many ways to serve. Be fruitful. Be sweet and juicy and good and loving and kind and patient. Fruitage of the Spirit. And multiply. Teach others to serve. Show others by serving. Show yourself unconditional love by serving. Show what brought you into existence gratitude by returning that service, by being a caretaker, by showing and rendering unconditional love, by not just thinking of yourself, by growing, by expanding, by ascending. Okay. Think of the sacred bee as a queen mother who serves and is served in return, and the sweet harmony of its universal role as leader. And beloveds, the bee has always been a very powerful symbol when it comes to service, when it comes to serving, when it comes to order, when it comes to creating sweetness from harmony, from serving. That bee is fruitful. She goes around pollinating. She brings that pollen back home. Be fruitful. Serve. The bee doesn't just serve itself. Look at what it does for humanity. Look at what it does for other animals. And we're killing them. We're killing the earth. We're killing each other. Because we don't know how to be of service to each other. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Because to serve somebody makes you weak. To serve, that's why people don't want to work at McDonald's. They don't want to sweep streets. They don't want to do menial tasks because that's what servants do. We resent the migrants because they don't have a problem with serving. Have you noticed how the indigenous are with serving? How they do their elderly? How they serve their elderly? How they serve their children? How they serve the land that they live on? How they serve others? How they serve the Great Mother? It's natural to them because nobody has taught them that that makes you less than. That makes you less valuable as a being if you are a servant. The last thing you want to be in the world is a servant. Because a servant is just one step up from being a slave. Those are two different worlds. But we have got them confused. And we need to re-examine them. We need to really re-examine them. We really need to get a hold on what service is. Service is providing unconditional love. Service is being fruitful and multiplying. Service, to serve, You have to utilize the fruit of your spirit. You have to be patient. You have to be kind. You have to be loving. Think, okay, I did that second B. The earth is out of order because we have forgotten she is our mother. And just as she serves us, we are contracted by design, by existence itself, to serve her in return. That is the divine wisdom of the creation, of just like giving us the sun and the moon. We are to till the earth. We are to work the earth, just like the ants and the rest of the insects do. Everything serves. That is the circle of life. Everything serves. We imprison ourselves. We confine ourselves. We enslave ourselves to egoic conditions because we have broken the legal binding contract of existence, and we heap suffering upon our own heads because we are too stiff-necked, too arrogant, too self-righteous to admit our guilt of not being servants, of not serving in the way we're supposed to. We have broken the legal binding contract of existence, and we heap suffering upon our heads because we are too stiff-necked, too arrogant, too self-righteous to admit our guilt. Repent. I'm so sorry. Learn from your mistakes. Correct your mistakes. And redeem ourselves. Serve others. By example. Lead them through it. Help them through it. Ourselves through service to each other and the planet. This is a free will choice. Thus, in service only to ourselves, we have broken the original contract, and the law of the rule of the law says, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. What you put out comes back to you. If you feel that you are too good to serve someone, then in the end, you are not going to get the service. If you're the kind of parent who is mean and evil to your children, guess what? Your children are not going to take care of you. And you're going to need it. You're getting back what you gave. Looking back over history, beloveds, we have really strayed from the necessity of service and serving each other. Jesus went around washing people's feet. He served. And they didn't have no nice shoes like we got nowadays. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So you could just imagine what people's feet were like. That kind of devotion, that kind of compassion to serve. I talked about Kuan Yin the other day and her compassion. She had earned the right to ascend. She'd rather stay and serve because of her compassion. Have you ever worked overtime because your boss needed the help? Not just because you needed the money, but because somebody needed the help? That's serving, whether you get rewarded for it or not. It's in your heart to do that. That's compassion. I'll help you. Service is helping, not harming. We have got to be more in service of each other. We, just like you have the protesters and the big, everyone coming out about the way the children are being treated, the migrant children are being treated, being taken away from their parents. Every time you speak up, you're doing them a service. Every time you share a story on your social network and media, you are rendering a service. If you write letters to the leaders who are supposed to be serving and remind them they are to serve, they lead by serving. They are to serve their district. That is why they were elected. They were elected to serve. If you need to remind people, remind them as gently as you can, be as patient as you can. But we need to start reminding each other. We are each other's servants. I am my brother's keeper. My brother ain't heavy, no matter how fat his ass is. We are here to serve. And by serving, it sends a different vibration out in the world. By serving, you'll be amazed at the healing that takes place just by serving. Just by what can I do for you? How can I be of service? That trips people out. When I was doing my card readings and so forth and so on, I would have people contact me on Facebook in the messenger. And my words to them, my greeting to them was, how may I serve? How may I be of service to you? Because I'm a vessel. You're not coming to Valerie for Valerie. You're coming to Valerie for Mama. For the existence in me. For the wisdom that's within me. That I'm part of. That I'm one with. How can I use that to serve you? Because by doing that, I'm serving my purpose. I am reflecting my Creator by serving. with unconditional love. That is service. So, beloveds, that's going to do it. Okay. I'm going to pull one card from the Medicine Woman deck. Let me see. Okay. I wasn't planning this, but it's in my spirit. So let's see what we get and what she wants to say. All right. Okay, all of these came out. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go like this, and I'm going to just pull one. Ace of Bowls. Ace of Bowls. That is a beautiful card. Okay, Ace of Bowls. Let's see what it says. On page 199, that's a 19, that's 20, that's a 2. 199, 2. That's a deep number, beloveds, especially with service, when it comes to service. Think of the number 2 as it relates to service. Okay. All right, Mama. I'm to tell you what bowls is. So here we go. This suit, also known as cups in the regular tarot deck, is best symbolized by some kind of container. Womb. It could be a cup, bowl, basket, chalice, or any vessel that serves. That serves to remind you to empty yourself each day that you might have room to be refilled. So don't hold on to resentment of what you have to do to serve someone. Serve and let it go. This minor mystery of life, the mystery of emptiness and fulfillment, loneliness and all oneness surrounds you each day. The lessons teach you to realize that your own body/mind is the container of love. Within you are worlds and beings, lands and adventures that guide you every day. The bowls ask you to come on a journey of devotion, to recognize that you have been given time, and time is the road on which you lay your life day by day. Through time, you are to love. Lessons come your way, and you are to live each one in the highest love that you can generate, offering every life experience to the embodiment of all love, the great spirit within. Spirit dwells everywhere, and it is up to you to find it. You have been given a life of time in which to do so. Service. Service is the message. How you spend your time is how you love. What you spend your time doing is that to which you are devoted. So are you devoted to serving mankind, or are you devoted in destroying mankind? Who are you? Which one of those houses do you live in? What you are devoted to is your religion. Woo! Your religion is your spiritual expression. Service. It does not have to be formal and dogmatic. Shining shoes, that's your religion. I'm gonna spit shining, and ain't nobody gonna do it better. I'm gonna serve these shoes. Life is to be your love, your expression, your devotion. Every moment is an opportunity for sacrament or sacrifice. You can make life sacred or profane. And beloveds, what I'm getting is to say is that those who were slaves and those who were servants, they found their worth, their self-worth in their ability to serve. It wasn't who they were serving or what they had to do. It was serving whatever they saw themselves doing. They were serving existence. And they did it to the best of their ability. The bowls ask you to look at what you carry with you. What fills it? What nourishes you? To whom do you offer sustenance? To whom do you offer your cup of love, your basket of life's harvest? The bowl that carries the food of your life to your body is either simple or luxurious. Either way, it is a sign of the life you are living. What does it say about you? Do you take more than you need, more than you offer? Does anyone go hungry because you eat? These are the questions asked by the suit of bowls. You will now discover how you answer them. And the card we got again, beloveds, was the Ace of Bowls. This is the very first card. That is why Spirit had me read what the suit of bowls represent. So here we go. Ace of Bowls is offering of love, prayer. In our hearts we are peace. Within us dwell this spirit, which brings joy to all who would seek the highest good. It is the best for ourselves and others. The divine perfection is already within our beings. The hand of inner helpers, servers. The hand of inner helpers is always ready to reach out and lift us up. We must, however, ask for this help. We must pause to find that peaceful place within. There does the divine idea dwell. That's where this idea of service and this understanding and understanding, I woke up with, boom, there it is. If we reach out offering love to others, our spiritual gifts are pulled up from within us and reach our consciousness. As we give, the inner waters flow and guide us to harmony. The nectar of infinite love is already in our hearts. From this I drink deeply now. Lesson. Inside you, there is a giver of love. You may think of this giver as higher than you, other than you, more godly, pure, an essence of spirit. But you can only find her through yourself. You must go inside, dwell in your inner space in order to make contact. Inner and outer are simply convenient thought constructs that order our world a certain way. It does not matter which way you perceive yourself to be going. God is in every direction. The Ace of Bowls asks you to recognize your ability to be in touch with the giver of love and recognize that you are an extension of that one. What you offer anyone or any situation is a gift from that giver if you are dwelling in that place of love inside yourself. That's beautiful. So no matter which one of those houses you find yourself at, you always need to go back to ground zero. Unconditional love. That's mama. So that's that's it. Existence is in both houses. But it's up to you. Those houses exist as parameters, as boundaries for you to center yourself and find harmony and alignment with existence, which is unconditional love, and be in service to that love. Let me keep going. Recognize that you have something to offer. Accept your inner gifts, your intentions of love, and your desire to love. Now is the time to contemplate kindness, attention, acceptance, emotional comfort, and sustenance. In order to give freely and without expectation, you must find the source of constant replenishment inside yourself. There is a source inside of you that serves you. And that source is connected to the universe. What you put out, how you serve others is what you're going to be served in return. That's the energy. That's the cord. That's the string. That's how you do it. And that is inside of you. And the more that you serve from this place, others, the more you receive from the universe, from that place of unconditional love. Okay. Now is the time to contemplate kindness, attention, acceptance, emotional comfort, and sustenance. These are all forms of love with no strings attached. In order to give freely and without expectation, you must find the source of constant replenishment inside yourself. If you cannot easily find that giver, make one up. Your imagination is the bridge you build so that higher being can get to you. Do not be afraid to build a good one. Remember, God, Goddess, and guides are formless beings. You give them the form in which they can appear to you. It is easier for us humans, especially Western minds, to form personally fulfilling relationships with someone we can see. So don't be afraid to allow infinite love to take form according to your desires. After all, that is what you are trying to do when you look for a true friend or love partner. You are asking the giver of love to embody before you as a person to whom you can relate. Embody the giver of love within you first, and the outer world will supply all you need. And that is that card, beloveds. How beautiful is that? If you want to serve, you got to be served. You've got to serve others. And the way that you serve others is the way that you're going to be served. What you put out is going to come back to you. So, beloveds, that is going to do it. And namaste. And thank you. And I hope this is helping you, because it's really, like I said, it's giving me a lot to think about. And in being able to go within this way, a lot of my behavioral patterns, a lot of my attitudes, a lot of the way that I view many different subjects, seen and unseen, is changing. And it's changing in such a way that I am able to serve you better. So, and like I said, that brings me joy. That brings me joy. Um, no one is perfect, and we're all doing the best we can do. But the more we serve each other from this place of love, if I show you what's working for me, that's a service. Whether you take it or not, that's up to you. That's either a service you're going to do to yourself or you're not going to. That's not a service to me, Valerie, so I'm not going to take that. Valerie's not going to be upset and tripping out, and I'm putting it out on the waters. The waters will take it where it needs to go. If it need to go down, nobody get it, and it needs to go be sunk down in, it's still going to do what it needs to do. So throw your seeds, beloveds. That's serving. Giving another person something to think about, that's service. Going from one point within yourself to another point within yourself, that is raising the vibration of the collective. That's serving. Going from a place of resentment to a place of appreciation and gratitude, that's service. That's serving the universe. That's serving existence. That's multiplying and being fruitful. That's expanding. That's shining. And I don't do it to say, look at me, look what I did. Woo! No, that's not it. I do it because the same reason Kuan Yin did what she did. Because I know what it feels like to feel alone, to feel abandoned, to feel hopeless, to feel worthless. Like I said, and I don't mean to keep bringing this up, but this is my example. This was my experience. Being 600 pounds and physically having my son was just a couple years old. I gained 600 pounds after my son was born. So he was a couple years old. For when he got ready to go to Head Start, I had to contract with the county for a cab to come and take him because I was too big to move. So when I say I've been in that place, I've been through that darkness. I've had those demons around me. I've lived with them. Those demons have hugged me, comforted me, made love to me, and I loved them until I couldn't love them no more because I needed to love myself. Oh, they were serving me. Come on, fat girl. Come on. We'll serve you. You want some more pity party? Come on, I'll sit at your pity party with you. You need some memories? Come on. You need to feel less than? Here we go. Serve it. Whoop. Eat it up. Serve yourself. Unconditional love first. And it gets to be a lot easier to recognize it and to share it. So that's going to be it, beloveds. And I just want to say, I hope you like my service. Leave a tip in the comment area. Just joking. Love yourselves, beloveds. It's time to raise the frequency. And that's how we serve each other. And that's how we serve existence, by being grateful and by being fruitful with the fruits of the spirit. Okay, love us all.